Beauty to change your life or beauty that could cost you your life, don't let the spotlight fool you. Behind flawless faces and unreal curves lies a world of insecurity, pain, and devastating consequences. From Hazel E's escape from silicone to Tiny Harris's terrifying fear of going blind, everything will be exposed in this video. Before we begin, here's a question. If these transformations shock you, leave a 1 in the comments. If you're not that impressed, leave a 0. Don't forget to like and subscribe to uncover the brutal truths behind the glamour. Ready? Let's begin. Hazel E shocked all of Hollywood when she appeared with a severely disfigured face and a nose that was nearly completely destroyed. At first, she tried to cover up the truth with a story about a horrific ATV accident in Dubai, but the reality behind it was far darker. This was not a random accident. It was the result of a chain of catastrophic mistakes in cosmetic surgery. Hazel E's nose quite literally collapsed due to a severe infection and excessive intervention by unqualified doctors. Images of her necrotic nose were not just a cosmetic mishap, but a true medical nightmare, exposing the devastating price of placing blind trust in false promises of perfect beauty. Hazel E's fight to save her face became a race against time, forcing her to seek out the top reconstruction specialists on the show Botched for a major corrective surgery. Doctors were shocked to discover that the internal structure of her nose had been completely destroyed with no cartilage left to provide support, making it difficult for her to breathe. This stands as a costly lesson about abusing cosmetic surgery. Too many times in the same area, tissue dies, blood flow is cut off, and the body begins to reject what has been artificially added. The raw footage documenting her painful recovery is a haunting warning that once natural structures are damaged, restoring them to their original state is nearly impossible, no matter how much money is spent. Hazel E's story is not only a medical case study, but a psychological lesson about life under the spotlight. She admitted that she was pulled into a spiral of insecurity, constantly feeling that she wasn't beautiful enough in front of the camera, leading her to make devastating decisions on the operating table. After the incident, Hazel E bravely chose to expose every mistake she made, to warn young women never to underestimate post-surgery complications. The core message is unmistakably clear. Cosmetic surgery can be a tool for confidence, but without knowing when to stop it can become a self-destructive monster that turns on its own owner. Are you truly willing to gamble your life and your face in a game of chance with silicone and scalpels? Would you be willing to trade your natural eyesight for an exotic eye color despite the risk of blindness? Tiny Harris, a symbol of the group Escape, sent shockwaves through the media when she publicly revealed that she had changed her eye color from natural brown to an icy gray. This was not contact lenses, but a major surgical procedure known as bright ocular, a method completely banned in the United States by the FDA due to its extreme dangers. Tiny flew halfway around the world to overseas clinics to fulfill her desire for a new look. Images of her new eyes instantly became the center of fierce criticism, leaving the public unsettled by the singer's bold, almost extreme decision. Behind the unusual appearance lies a chilling procedure. Doctors make a small incision in the cornea and insert a colored silicone implant directly into the iris. This is a ticking time bomb for one's health. Tiny didn't stop at her eyes. She also admitted to undergoing multiple nose jobs, liposuction, and breast augmentation to achieve what Hollywood defines as perfection. But the cost was far more than financial. Her own daughter Zonique, who followed her mother in changing her eye color, suffered excruciating pain and was forced to undergo emergency surgery to remove the silicone implant in order to save her eyesight. This stands as the most damning proof of the dangers of cosmetic overuse, in defiance of strict medical warnings. The story of Tiny Harris's family is not cheap entertainment. It is a powerful medical cautionary tale. It exposes a disturbing reality. Body dysmorphic disorder can drive people toward the most reckless decisions imaginable. Reshaping the body with chemicals and silicone is never sustainable. Through Tiny's journey, we learn a hard truth. Cosmetic surgery can change how a person looks, but it cannot heal insecurity from within. Don't trade a fleeting moment of artificial beauty for a lifetime of darkness. What do you think about risking your very windows to the soul just to chase a trend? Do you remember Kim Kardashian of the early 2000s compared to the billionaire icon she is today? She is not merely a reality TV star, she is the woman who reshaped the entire beauty standard of the 21st century. With a face sculpted to the millimeter and an almost unreal hourglass figure, Kim sparked a global cosmetic obsession, driving millions of women into a race to mold their bodies in her image. Yet behind that perfection lies a complex matrix of refined interventions, from reshaping facial bone structure to highly controversial body enhancement procedures, turning her into a living template where even the smallest surgical miscalculation can erupt into a media catastrophe. Kim Kardashian is the figure who propelled the Brazilian butt lift BBL trend to its peak, and she now appears to be quietly leading the movement away from it. Medical experts have pointed out a sudden shift in her body proportions in recent years, from curves that once seemed to defy physics to a much slimmer, more compact silhouette. This serves as a costly educational lesson about the dangers and impermanence of fillers. Injecting large amounts of silicone or fat into the body is never a permanent solution. It is a gamble with the immune system and the natural aging process. Kim has proven that even if you have all the money in the world, the human body still has limits that cannot be tajawuzed, and that fixing past alterations can sometimes be more painful than the original procedures themselves. Why would the so-called queen of cosmetic surgery choose to return to a softer, more natural look? Kim Kardashian's story is a profound psychological case study about the pressure of maintaining perfection in front of hundreds of millions of followers. She once became a prisoner of the very standards she helped create, only to realize that the most sustainable form of confidence doesn't come from surgery, but from understanding one's own worth. Through Kim's journey, the lesson for younger generations is clear: never turn yourself into a test subject for fleeting beauty trends. Do you remember when Nicki Minaj dominated the charts with the image of a living doll defined by curves, considered truly one of a kind? To maintain her status as the queen of rap, Nicki locked herself into a trap called unrealistic perfection. She has openly admitted that pressure from the music industry and early insecurities about her body pushed her toward extreme cosmetic decisions. Massive silicone enhancements created the explosive Nicki Minaj brand, but at the same time turned her into a prisoner of a high-risk beauty standard that millions of young girls blindly chase today. Behind the dazzling outfits lies a truth few people talk about: the silent complications of fillers and implants. After years of living with artificial substances in her body, Nicki Minaj began to feel heaviness and unusual changes in her health. In recent interviews, she hasn't hesitated to express regret about altering her body too early, before her mindset was truly stable. This is a costly medical and psychological lesson in body dysmorphia. When you look in the mirror and see only flaws, you never know where to stop on the operating table, until one day you realize you've lost your true self in exchange for a temporary version of beauty. Behind the dazzling outfits lies a truth few people talk about: the silent complications of fillers and implants. After years of living with artificial substances in her body, Nicki Minaj began to feel heaviness and unusual changes in her health. In recent interviews, she hasn't hesitated to express regret about altering her body too early, before her mindset was truly stable. This is a costly medical and psychological lesson in body dysmorphia. When you look in the mirror and see only flaws, you never know where to stop on the operating table until one day you realize you've lost your true self in exchange for a temporary version of beauty. From a fiery plastic doll image to a courageous declaration of self-love, Nicki Minaj has proven one thing: silicone can be bought, but authentic confidence cannot. What do you think about this awakening journey of the Queen of Rap? Leave a 2 if you're truly impressed, and support her new look, or a 5 if you still prefer the old Barbie aesthetic. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe right now so you don't miss the shocking truths hidden behind the spotlight. Do you realize this is the same person from the fiery Queen Bee icon of the 1990s? Lil' Kim has transformed herself into someone almost unrecognizable. This is not just a story about failed cosmetic procedures. It's a warning about the cost of insecurity and the suffocating pressure of Hollywood. In 1996, Lil' Kim was a symbol of female power in hip-hop, bold and unapologetically natural. What few people knew was that behind that confidence lived a deeply wounded soul. Lil' Kim has openly spoken about being abused and criticized for her appearance by men in her past. "They told me I wasn't beautiful," she revealed. What began as a nose job after an injury slowly escalated into a cycle of surgeries, facelifts, fillers, skin lightening, and full facial restructuring. The result, a frozen face that has lost the defining features that once made her iconic. Psychologists point to this as a sign of body dysmorphic disorder (BDD), a condition in which a person is never satisfied with the face they see in the mirror and turns to surgery as a lifeline, only to fall into a bottomless void. Beyond physical transformation, excessive cosmetic procedures can lead to serious health complications, tissue damage, and most painfully, public backlash over an appearance perceived as unreal. Lil' Kim remains a music legend, but her face has become a costly lesson in self-love. Cosmetic surgery may alter a face, but it cannot heal the wounds of the soul. Once dubbed the Queen of the Scalpel, with a face so altered it was compared to a horror movie character, Black China did something that stunned all of Hollywood. She removed everything. 7 liters of silicone and countless fillers were eliminated. This wasn't just a cosmetic correction, it was a resurrection from the edge of ruin. From a stripper to a reality TV star, Angela White, her real name, was swept into the vortex of manufactured fame. She has openly admitted that she began abusing fillers and undergoing butt enhancement surgeries as early as age 19. Her face once became unsettling, with a sharply pointed chin and stiff frozen cheekbones. Audiences no longer saw a beautiful Angela, only Black China, a flawed product of the cosmetic industry. She later confessed that illegal silicone injections had turned her body into a ticking time bomb, posing a direct threat to her life and long-term health. So why did she stop? China shared that she wanted her children to see their mother's real beauty. This is the most powerful part of the story. She underwent hours of surgery to remove silicone from her body and dissolve the fillers in her face. Her videos have become a powerful visual lesson on the dangers of starting fillers too early and the devastating risks of unregulated substances. She warned young people, "Don't let temporary insecurity destroy your entire life." Today, Black China is gone. Only Angela White remains radiant in her natural beauty. Her story delivers a clear and powerful message: the most beautiful version of you is the one where you are truly yourself. Do you remember the fierce, sharp-tongued Nene Leakes from the early seasons of The Real Housewives? Confident, commanding, and strikingly natural. From a reality TV star radiating unshakable self-assurance, Nene embarked on a transformation so extensive that she eventually became almost unrecognizable. This change didn't happen overnight. It was a quiet yet aggressive process of gradual alteration. From facial slimming to major breast enhancement surgeries, Nene reshaped herself from a distinctly Atlanta woman into an entirely different version, igniting intense curiosity and heated debate about where the line of beauty enhancement should truly be drawn. The most shocking focal point of Nene's transformation is her nose. She has never hidden the fact that she underwent at least 2 rhinoplasty procedures to achieve a more refined look. From a professional standpoint, however, this has become an educational case study on the risks of repeated intervention in the same area. Excessive revisions weakened the nasal structure, led to tissue fibrosis, and caused abnormal narrowing of the nostrils, affecting not only aesthetics, but also basic breathing function. Nene stands as proof of the curse of perfection. When you try to fix something that was never truly broken, you risk destroying the harmony of the entire face. Why couldn't a powerful, wealthy woman like Nene stop? The answer lies in the suffocating pressure of the entertainment industry, where aging and wrinkles are treated as enemies. Her story isn't just about surgery. It's about a psychological battle to remain desirable in the public eye. Through Nene's journey, we learn a costly lesson. When confidence is built on surgical procedures, it becomes dangerously fragile. Enhancing your appearance to love yourself is one thing, but doing it to satisfy public opinion is a trap with no escape. Do you remember the talented young woman with a natural, healthy beauty from Danity Kane, the girl group carefully crafted by Diddy himself? Dawn Richard was once a symbol of hard work and the distinctive beauty of women of color in the 2000s. Yet after the group disbanded, the public experienced a genuine shock witnessing her transformation. Gone was the Dawn people once knew, replaced by an entirely new face with razor-sharp features, a dramatically elevated nose bridge and facial bone structure altered to an almost unbelievable degree. This wasn't just cosmetic surgery. Experts have described it as a complete reconstruction of identity, igniting fierce debate over whether she went too far in her attempt to redefine herself. Looking deeper from a documentary perspective, Dawn Richard's appearance resembles a complex matrix of invasive procedures, multiple rhinoplasties, to achieve an extremely narrow shape, jawbone reshaping, and even speculation about skin lightening. Cosmetic experts warn that altering facial structure too rapidly and too aggressively can lead to muscle fibrosis and a loss of natural expression, something critically important for a performing artist. Dawn has become a textbook example of what happens when the pursuit of an unreal ideal of beauty crosses the boundary of harmony. The result is often a face frozen like wax, leaving fans with nothing but regret for the vibrant, radiant beauty she once had. Why would a truly talented artist like Dawn Richard choose such an extreme path of physical transformation? The answer lies in the invisible yet suffocating pressure of the entertainment industry, where individuality is often distorted by unrealistic beauty standards. Dawn's story is a costly lesson in psychology. Cosmetic surgery may give you a new face, but it cannot give you inner peace if you are still running from yourself. It reminds us of a timeless truth. The highest form of allure is confidence in what you were born with. Do you remember the beautiful, witty Lisa Turtle who stole the hearts of millions in the 1990s? Lark Voorhees was once a symbol of natural, radiant Hollywood beauty. Yet after years away from the spotlight, her return on national television caused a shockwave, and not in a positive way. The public was stunned by a frozen-looking face, heavy and unusual makeup, and features so altered they were barely recognizable. This was not simply the change that comes with age, but a painful reminder of how early fame can become a suffocating burden, pushing a former star into a cycle of altering her appearance in an attempt to reclaim lost attention. So what really happened to Lark Voorhees' face? Cosmetic experts believe she overused fillers, cheek augmentation, and excessive rhinoplasty, causing her face to lose its natural balance. However, the most educational aspect of this case lies in the intersection between cosmetic damage and underlying health issues. Multiple sources have reported that Lark has struggled with mental health challenges and lupus conditions that can significantly alter skin structure and the body's reaction to fillers. This becomes a costly medical lesson when the body is not in a stable state of health. Introducing foreign substances or undergoing invasive procedures can trigger severe and unpredictable complications that no doctor can fully anticipate. Lark Voorhees' story is not a disaster for us to mock, but a deeply human document about the true cost of fame. She spent her entire youth living under the spotlight, and when that light faded, insecurity pushed her toward devastating decisions on the operating table. Lark's journey reminds us of a crucial truth: cosmetic surgery is never a magic wand for psychological wounds. Instead of chasing unrealistic beauty standards to satisfy public opinion, healing the soul and learning self-acceptance are the real keys to lasting peace. Can you believe that someone once celebrated as an icon of raw, Harlem-born natural beauty would choose to erase her own skin tone entirely? Azealia Banks, the talented yet deeply controversial rapper, shocked the world when she appeared with an unnaturally pale complexion. This was not the result of lighting or makeup, but a deliberate chemical intervention. Her transformation went far beyond her face, extending to her entire body, igniting waves of curiosity and outrage. It forced a troubling question into the spotlight. Why would a black artist choose to reject her own roots in such a drastic way? From an educational and documentary perspective, Azealia Banks's case serves as a stark warning about the skin bleaching trend. To achieve a dramatically lighter skin tone, people often use products containing hydroquinone or mercury chemicals that are banned or strictly regulated due to their dangers. Abuse of these substances not only destroys the skin's protective barrier, leading to thinning skin and permanent hyperpigmentation, but also increases the risk of kidney failure and skin cancer. Azealia has openly admitted to this practice, unintentionally exposing a brutal reality. When insecurity about skin color is pushed to the extreme, people may be willing to trade their health and even their lives for an imported standard of beauty. Why would an artist as fiercely individual as Azealia fall into this trap? Her story is a profound psychological case study of colorism within the entertainment industry. It reminds us that cosmetic surgery or skin bleaching is often just the tip of the iceberg, masking deep, unresolved emotional wounds beneath the surface. Through Azealia's highly controversial journey, one lesson becomes clear: no chemical can bleach away insecurity, and no surgical procedure can repair self-worth. What would you do if your mother, a famous icon, publicly changed her eye color and you decided to follow in her footsteps? Zonique Pullins ignited intense controversy when she traveled to Tunisia alongside her mother to undergo an extremely dangerous artificial iris implant procedure. Trading her naturally vibrant brown eyes for an unfamiliar gray-blue gaze, Zonique didn't just undergo a cosmetic surgery, she gambled her future on a procedure not approved by the FDA, turning herself into a victim of the same desire for exotic beauty that inspired her mother. The glamour of her new eye color faded quickly, giving way to a true medical nightmare. Behind the polished social media photos were relentless pain and severe vision loss. Ophthalmologists delivered a brutal verdict. If the silicone implants were not removed immediately, Zonique would face glaucoma and permanent blindness in her early 20s. This case stands as hard evidence that artificial iris implants can trigger intraocular inflammation and irreversibly destroy corneal cells. Zonique endured terrifying hours on the operating table to rescue her eyes from foreign objects that were damaging her vision day by day. Unlike the stubborn denial seen in so many cases, Zonique chose courage. She publicly shared her journey of removing the artificial iris implants and returning to her natural brown eyes. Using her own pain as a warning, she sent a powerful message to younger generations: never play games with the windows to your soul. Zonique's story is a deeply educational lesson about breaking free from the toxic influence of extreme beauty standards within families. Cosmetic surgery may make you stand out for a moment, but permanent darkness is a price no one should ever have to pay. Do you remember the commanding face and shock value statements of Tiffany Pollard on Flavor of Love? To maintain her status as a queen, Tiffany plunged into a ruthless pursuit of beauty. She didn't stop at sharp facial alterations. She also stunned the public by undergoing multiple extreme breast enhancement surgeries with massive sizes. At the time, her motto was simple: bigger is better, a way to assert dominance and visibility. What she didn't realize was that she was placing a literal ticking time bomb inside her own chest, setting off a chain of events that would lead to the darkest chapter of her life. From a documentary standpoint, Tiffany's case is a brutal lesson in breast implant illness BII, a condition in which the body reacts negatively to breast implants. Behind the spotlight, Tiffany endured chronic fatigue, severe brain fog, and crushing chest pain that left her struggling to breathe. Her body began to wage a violent internal rejection, draining her physical strength and pushing her mental state into panic. The image of Tiffany appearing on Botched with sheer desperation written across her face became the clearest proof of just how devastating this condition can be. When you deliberately force foreign objects into your body in exchange for vanity, the body will respond with pain far beyond human tolerance. The decision to completely remove her breast implants became the turning point that allowed Tiffany Pollard to be reborn from the brink of collapse. Her story is not just a cosmetic correction, it is a powerful educational case about listening to the body's warnings. Tiffany bravely shed the plastic shell to return to her true self, reclaiming the clarity, vitality, and life force she had lost. Her message is uncompromising and clear. No beauty is ever worth more than your own life. Hollywood's spotlight may shine brilliantly, but the shadow it casts can be just as dark. The stories of cosmetic complications among celebrities serve as a powerful wake-up call for all of us. Never gamble your life on promises of instant beauty. What do you think about the growing addiction to cosmetic surgery in today's entertainment industry? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to support the channel and hit like if you agree that health is the most sustainable form of beauty. See you in the next round of Hidden Stories. Imagine looking into the mirror and no longer recognizing yourself. Is it a nightmare or the dream of perfection? In today's video, we will dissect the tragedies behind Hollywood's glamour, a place where stars are willing to butcher their own bodies just for a nod of approval from the public. From botched surgeries that ruin their flesh to psychological disorders that make them never feel beautiful enough. What you're about to witness is not just a change in appearance, but the desperate scream of souls trapped within. The raw truth begins now. In the unforgiving world of hip-hop, it is rare for a white girl from rural Australia to rise to the very top. But Iggy Azalea didn't attract attention through music alone. She sparked intense debate over how far an artist can go in altering their physical identity. Iggy has never hidden her use of cosmetic surgery. She is one of the few A-list stars who openly admitted, "I like the results I've dreamed of this my whole life." Yet as early breast augmentation and a nose job gradually gave way to more extreme changes in her body shape, the public began asking an uncomfortable question: was Iggy trying to turn herself into a version of herself that was no longer white? The changes to her facial bone structure, and especially her dramatically fuller hips, shaped in the BBL fat transfer style, have led Iggy to face accusations of blackfishing, a term referring to white individuals who deliberately use cosmetic procedures, makeup, and style to appear as people of color for cultural profit. Comments on the social media platform X Twitter have been ruthless, calling her a wax doll or a product of assembly. But behind those glossy curves and sculpture-like features, what truly lies beneath the suffocating pressure of an entertainment industry where perfection is the only ticket to survival. The tragedy of Iggy Azalea lies in her pursuit of perfection by imitating the traits of another race, a pursuit that has gradually caused her to lose the unique beauty and identity that once defined her original appeal. Many fans feel nostalgic for the raw, free-spirited image she had during the fancy era, and question whether she is truly shining as a star or losing herself in an endless attempt to satisfy a world that is never content. Iggy's journey shows that in the digital age, the line between personal freedom and the erasure of identity is extremely fragile, and that the price of a perfect appearance is relentless public judgment about who you really are beneath it. If there is one woman who has redefined the concept of aging in the 21st century, it is Kris Jenner. Not just the momager behind the Kardashian family's billion-dollar empire, Kris is also the chief architect of a look the world has been eager to replicate, a face untouched by time, a level of perfection so extreme it borders on the unreal. She has openly revealed her facelift on national television. For Kris, every Botox injection and filler treatment is not just about beauty, it is a tool to maintain her position of power in an industry that constantly seeks to push older women aside. But look deeper beneath this flawless mask. On social media platform X, the public frequently debates whether Kris Jenner is gradually losing the natural expressions of a mother and grandmother. Overfilled lips and cheekbones have created an appearance many describe as borderless beauty, a face with no clear age, no clear origin, marked only by the unmistakable hand of the most advanced cosmetic technology. Why does she never allow herself to age? Behind the radiant exterior and steel-like confidence lies the immense pressure of a woman tasked with preserving an entire family's brand. In Kris Jenner's world, aging is treated as an enemy that must be defeated. She has created a beauty standard in which humans no longer look entirely human, but instead resemble a flawlessly edited digital version of themselves. But what is the cost of maintaining this illusion? Is there ever a moment when looking into the mirror she feels unfamiliar with the woman staring back at her? Kris Jenner stands as proof that power and beauty often go hand in hand, but they also create a dazzling golden cage. What do you think about Kris Jenner's war against time? Is it a form of empowerment or a rejection of natural identity? Comment 2 if you see it as a powerful choice, or 5 if you think she has become too dependent on cosmetic surgery. In the history of reality, television, no transformation has been more shocking or controversial than that of Khloe Kardashian. While her sisters performed subtle tweaks to enhance their beauty, Khloe seemed to undergo a total aesthetic purge. She didn't just want to change her face, she wanted to completely erase the old version that the world once mocked as the fat Kardashian sister. Khloe is the most vivid proof that when cosmetic technology meets psychological pain, it can create an entirely new entity. From her jawline structure and nose to her surreal hourglass physique, The current Chloe looks like she has no relation whatsoever to the girl from 10 years ago. But here's what makes Chloe the focus of today's headlines: the ambiguity of her racial identity. Chloe has frequently faced accusations of blackfishing, a term describing white women who alter their appearance to appropriate the physical traits of women of color. With deeply tanned skin, overfilled lips, and hairstyles associated with black culture, Chloe has prompted the public to question which race is she trying to belong to. Behind meticulously edited Instagram photos that make fans barely recognize their idol lies a quiet pain. Chloe has long lived in the shadow of her older sisters Kim and Courtney. She was once mercilessly bullied by the media over her weight and appearance. Those emotional scars have driven her into an endless race with cosmetic surgery. Many psychologists suggest that Chloe may be facing extreme body dysmorphic tendencies. Despite having a figure millions dream of, she has never felt enough. Each new procedure is a desperate attempt to gain acceptance from a world that has always been overly critical of her. Khloe Kardashian isn't just changing her face, she is trying to change her very identity to escape past traumas. But can an artificial swan ever find true happiness when her original self has been erased? Imagine being the voice of an entire generation, smart, sharp, and radiating that rebellious British indie vibe. That was the Lily Allen we all knew and loved with her hit song Smile. But even as she sang about laughing through the hard times behind the lens, Lily was fighting a silent enemy, an obsession with her appearance. Lily Allen was never one to stay silent. While many stars try to guard their cosmetic procedures like a state secret, Lily chose to expose the entire truth on her podcast. From nose jobs and Botox to liposuction, she admitted to everything. But the question isn't what she did, it's why she did it. Lily's transformation is a direct result of what we call the confidence-grinding machine of the music industry. She once shared that she had hated her nose for years and felt a terrifying pressure to stand alongside the thin, flawless models on magazine covers. However, there is a painful truth in this journey. Lily admitted that she once turned to plastic surgery as a remedy for a soul shattered by personal tragedies and the toxic scrutiny of the British tabloids. Many fans worry that in her effort to become more beautiful and more confident, Lily is slowly losing the witty, raw authenticity that once defined her brand. Although she insists that going under the knife helped her love herself more, her physical transformation at age 40 has sparked fierce debates on X, formerly Twitter. Is this self-liberation, or is it just another form of surrendering to the unrealistic beauty standards that Hollywood imposes on women? Lily Allen remains a talented artist, but her story is a sharp reminder even the strongest women can be wounded by harsh aesthetic standards. She didn't change her race, but she is changing the identity of a raw indie girl to become a more polished version, a version she hopes the world will finally accept. In the world of extreme transformation, there are those who don't just want to change their faces, they want to completely erase their human essence to become an inanimate icon. Meet Sarah Burge, the woman who spent over $800,000 and underwent more than 100 surgeries to be called the real-life Barbie. But don't let that perfect plastic shell fool you. This isn't a story of mere vanity. This is an escape from a traumatic reality. Few know that Sarah's journey to the scalpel began with a tragedy. She was once the victim of a brutal assault that left her face completely disfigured. Plastic surgery was initially meant to reconstruct, but later it morphed into a haunting restructuring of identity. Sarah didn't just want to heal her wounds. She wanted to destroy the woman who had endured that pain and replace her with an entity that couldn't feel agony, a silicone doll. However, the peak of the controversy that left the world in shock was when Sarah decided to pass this legacy down to the next generation. She gave her 7-year-old daughter gift vouchers for plastic surgery and breast augmentation to be used in the future. Why would a mother want her child to enter the downward spiral of the scalpel so early? This is the pain behind the mask. Sarah believes that in a harsh world, artificial beauty is the only weapon for survival. She is trying to build a doll empire where nature is treated as a defect. Sarah Burge's journey is the clearest evidence that when body modification becomes a painkiller for emotional trauma, it will never have an end. She succeeded in becoming a living Barbie, but the price was the total loss of her human self and the creation of a heartbreaking legacy for future generations. In the late 90s, no one could deny the magnetic pull of Tara Reid. With her radiant blonde hair and the vibrant natural beauty she displayed in American Pie, she was every boy's dream muse, a perfect icon of pure Americana. But at the peak of her fame, Tara made a decision that she would later call the biggest mistake of her life. She didn't want to change her race or turn herself into a doll. She just wanted absolute perfection. But in the world of the scalpel, the line between enhancing beauty and self-destruction can sometimes be as thin as a surgeon's incision. Everything collapsed after just one botched liposuction and breast augmentation. Instead of a toned body, Tara was left with rippled scarring and deformed skin. This wasn't just a medical accident. It was a nuclear blast that annihilated her career. The Hollywood media, which once worshipped her, suddenly turned its back and transformed her into the target of the most cruel body-shaming imaginable. Imagine the agony of a young girl watching her face and body, her livelihood and her pride be ravaged beyond repair. Tara once shared through tears, "I lost all confidence in myself." She was pushed out of major film projects, her reputation plummeted, and she became a tragic headline in the tabloids. But Tara Reid's story is a warning about the pain behind the mask of perfection. She is a victim of a system that demands women stay forever young, yet is ready to discard them the moment a flaw appears. Her transformation wasn't about skin color. It was the transformation from an A-list star into living proof of the brutality of industrial beauty. Although she has undergone many corrective surgeries to regain her form, the psychological scars remain. The Tara Reid of today has learned to face her imperfections, but her journey remains a costly lesson. Perfection is an illusion, and sometimes the price of chasing it is trading away your very soul and future. Imagine winning the genetic lottery. You possess a face that millions crave and the entire world worships like a goddess. But when you look in the mirror, you don't see it. You only see flaws. Welcome to the world of Megan Fox. Once the ultimate Hollywood muse after the blockbuster Transformers, Megan Fox wasn't just an actress, she was the gold standard of beauty in the 2000s. But over time, that fresh, natural look began to give way to something more angular, more sharp, and more artificial. The public began to buzz. From those towering cheekbones and eerily surreal lips to skin that shows zero flaws, Megan appeared to have transformed herself into a real-life version of an Instagram filter. But this isn't a story about vanity. This is a story about a meat grinder called Hollywood. Although Megan rarely confirms specific procedures, the transformation is undeniable. However, instead of hiding her insecurities, Megan courageously admitted a shocking truth: she suffers from body dysmorphic disorder. Think about this. One of the most beautiful women on the planet has never once felt satisfied with her own body. Megan Fox once shared, I never see myself the way other people see me. This raises a painful question for all of us. If even Megan Fox doesn't feel beautiful enough, is there any surgery in the world that can truly heal the soul? Her transformation isn't just the result of fillers or the scalpel. It is the manifestation of an intense internal war against the impossible beauty standards that Hollywood imposes on women. Megan Fox remains radiant and glamorous, but she is living proof that the most perfect mask can sometimes be the heaviest one to wear. Are we witnessing an evolution of beauty, or are we watching a tragic film about an icon slowly erasing herself in pursuit of an illusion that doesn't exist? The stars we've followed were willing to sacrifice their very essence in pursuit of an illusion of perfection. But when the bandages come off, do they find true freedom or just a glamorous prison of artificial beauty? Your perspective is the key to unlocking this mystery. Share your thoughts in the comments. Is this extreme transformation worth the cost, or is it an irreversible mistake? I'll be reading and responding to the most insightful comments. And be warned, the truth behind the next Masters of Metamorphosis is even more shocking than what you've seen. Don't miss out. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you can be the first to watch our next video. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, there's always more value in being authentic than in striving for perfection. See you in the next one. Would you dare to abandon your roots in exchange for a new identity created by the scalpel? Today, we're exploring the world of stars who didn't just change their looks, they changed their entire race. But does this transformation bring true freedom, or is it just a lifetime sentence of regret? Before we dive deep into these shocking secrets, leave a 1 in the comments if you find these transformations impressive, or a 0 if you think they've gone beyond the limit. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the untold dark sides of the celebrity world. We're starting right now with the architects of artificial perfection. If you think plastic surgery is just about nose jobs or breast implants, prepare yourself to face one of the most controversial transformations in human history. Meet Martina Big, a former German flight attendant. She didn't just want to change her appearance, she took a step that the world calls the point of no return. She changed her own race. Martina wasn't born into a multi-ethnic family. She began her journey with fair-skinned blonde hair and a purely European look. But after a series of melanotan 2 injections, a potent synthetic hormone, her skin shifted from porcelain white to deep brown and finally to ebony black. Yet that was only the beginning of this radical identity restructuring. Martina claimed that she didn't just change her skin color, she insisted she had biologically become a black woman. She even went as far as flying to Kenya to be baptized, changing her name to Malaika Kubwa, and declaring her intention to raise her children as black Africans. Martina's actions ignited a wave of global outrage. Medical experts warned of the risks of skin cancer and organ failure from hormone abuse. Meanwhile, the black community accused her of cultural appropriation at the highest level, a form of 21st century blackface. They raised a stinging question. Can you truly change your race just by altering your skin pigment without ever living through the historical and cultural experiences tied to that race? But behind the sensational headlines lies the pain of being lost. Martina seems to be trapped in an identity storm. She rejects her roots to chase an illusion she believes is her true self. This is the pain behind the mask and absolute loneliness when you no longer belong to any community. White people view her as an oddity, while people of color see her as an insult. Martina Big is the most extreme example, showing that when the obsession with transformation escapes the control of reason, it erases all boundaries of morality and biology. She traded her entire race to find a sense of belonging, but perhaps all she found was a prison of melanin from which she can never escape. In an era where the mirror is no longer a reflection of reality but a blueprint for the future, some individuals don't just stop at upgrading their looks, they want to completely erase their former selves. Meet Alicia Amira, a woman who looked at the natural beauty she was born with and decided it was nothing more than a rough draft. Hailing from Sweden, Alicia hasn't just undergone a few minor procedures. She's embarked on a $1 million mission to become what she calls a living doll. But this isn't a fairy tale. This is a calculated surgical rebellion against the very concept of natural beauty. Alicia's transformation journey is a prime example of extreme aesthetics. We're talking about a total overhaul from massive breast augmentations and huge amounts of filler reshaping her facial structure to a wardrobe that looks more like stage costumes than everyday clothes. She doesn't just walk into a room, she manifests as a living, breathing piece of artificial art. But here's what really sparks our curiosity. Alicia isn't just a plastic surgery patient, she's a CEO. She founded the Bimbo Academy, a platform where she encourages other women to reclaim their power through a hyper-feminine look. She argues that by embracing a plastic look, she is actually escaping the fake expectations of a society full of prejudice. To her hyper-inflated lips, or a wrinkle-free forehead aren't a cage, they are a suit of armor. However, we must ask the haunting question behind this transformation. Where is the line between personal freedom of expression and self-erasure? When you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to look like a mass-produced object, do you lose the person you were originally shaped to be? Critics call it a mental health crisis disguised as empowerment. Supporters, on the other hand, call it the ultimate form of bodily autonomy. Alicia's journey forces us to confront a haunting, modern reality. If science can give you any face, any body, and any identity you crave, then who are you really, deep beneath those layers of silicone? Is Alicia Amira a pioneer of a post-human world, or is she a warning sign of a generation that has lost its connection to reality? As we peel back the layers of this porcelain mask, we see an undeniably confident woman, but also someone who has ensured that she can never, absolutely never go back to the person she used to be. If Megan Fox is an example of modern-day perfectionism, then the story of Lin May is a spine-chilling warning about how misplaced trust can destroy a legend. In the 70s and 80s, Lin May wasn't just a star, she was a phenomenon. As the Queen of Mexico's Cine de Ficheras, she possessed a sultry, exotic beauty and a charisma that made the entire country hold its breath whenever she stepped onto the stage. But behind that radiant confidence lay a primal fear that every star understands: the fear of being forgotten by time. In a desperate attempt to cling to her youth, Lin May made a decision that would change her life forever. She turned to a specialist who promised a miracle elixir of rejuvenation. They told her it was vitamins, but the reality was infinitely more cruel baby oil and industrial-grade silicone. We aren't talking about a typical failed surgery. We are talking about a medical betrayal. That liquid began to ravage her face from the inside out, causing tissues to become infected, swollen, and completely deformed. Almost overnight, the ultimate beauty icon became the target of cruel headlines and public ridicule. Imagine the excruciating pain not just physically, but as a total mental collapse. Lin May spent the following decades undergoing countless corrective surgeries, just trying to reclaim a fraction of the face she once had. She once bitterly admitted that she wanted to end it all because she couldn't stand the sight of her own reflection. But here is the most important part of the story Lin May didn't break. She chose to make her pain public. The deformation of her face was no longer a flaw, it became a war wound against vanity and the fraudsters of the cosmetic industry. She is living proof of how the pressure to stay young forever can push a human being into the abyss. Lin May's story isn't just about a surgery gone wrong. It is a lesson in acceptance and the devastating price of chasing hollow promises. She lost the face that once captivated the world, but in exchange, she found a core of steel to keep living and to warn future generations. Are we being too harsh on natural aging, only to accidentally drive ourselves into traps with no way out? While other stars undergo surgery to become more beautiful, in the traditional sense, Doja Cat chooses to use her body as a rough draft to destroy every definition of beauty. She isn't just a rapper. She is a digital chameleon, someone ready to wipe away her old look to be reborn in a form that no one can predict. From shaving her head and erasing her eyebrows, live in front of thousands of viewers, to appearing at fashion weeks with her body covered in 30,000 crimson crystals, Doja Cat is performing an identity surgery without needing excessive plastic surgery. But make no mistake, behind those shocking transformations are very real choices of body modification. Doja Cat openly admitted to undergoing liposuction and breast augmentation. However, instead of hiding it to maintain a natural beauty image, like many other stars, she confronts public opinion with sarcasm and defiance. She doesn't chase perfection. She chases eccentricity. So why would a star at the peak of her beauty choose to destroy her dazzling appearance to become something that looks like it came from another planet? This is where it intersects with our topic, the pain of searching for one's true self. Doja Cat has stated that she feels most free when she no longer has to try to be seductive in the eyes of men or according to Hollywood standards. Her transformation is a powerful message. When you're ready to break the mask society imposes, you can find a freer version of yourself, even if that version may terrify the world. Is Doja Cat leading a revolution of body freedom, or is she lost in the maze of constantly changing to attract attention? One thing is certain. She isn't afraid of change. She's afraid of being dissolved into the crowd. In a world of identical plastic dolls, Doja Cat chooses to be an existence that can't be classified. But what is the price of constantly reinventing herself? We will explore that in the next section. If there is a name that represents both the rise and the painful shadows of hip-hop culture, it is Lil Kim. In the 90s, she was the unrivaled Queen Bee, a symbol of confidence, power, and radiant black beauty. But over the past 3 decades, we have witnessed a transformation that many have called a retreat from her own race. Lil Kim didn't just undergo surgery to look younger. It seems she's trying to become an entirely different person. From reshaping her nose, getting lip injections, to the most controversial change, an unnaturally pale, almost surreal complexion. The public was not just curious, they were outraged. Many accused her of promoting colorism, a mindset that discriminates against black people. But let's pause for a moment. Behind the heavy makeup and extreme surgeries is not vanity, but a shattered soul. In a shocking interview, Lil Kim once confessed, "My whole life, men have told me I'm not beautiful enough." Even the men she loved the most frequently compared her to women with lighter skin and longer hair. The nightmare of insecurity turned into a pathological obsession. Lil Kim didn't just change her appearance, she was trying to erase the wounds of her past with surgery. She believed that if she were light enough, if her nose were high enough, the world would finally love her. This is the greatest tragedy of an icon. She had the world at her feet, yet couldn't find any value when looking at herself in the mirror. Lil Kim's journey is the clearest evidence that cosmetic surgery can become an extreme defense mechanism against society's brutal prejudices. She changed her entire face, her very identity, in exchange for an acceptance that she may never truly feel enough. The queen bee is still there, still resilient, but behind that porcelain mask is a valuable lesson. When we let the world define our beauty, we soon lose our very soul. If you think you've seen the limits of cosmetic surgery, brace yourself. Because Mary Sebastian Pickles, Magdalene isn't just aiming to change her appearance. She is undergoing a transformation to become a completely new entity, something beyond the boundaries of natural humanity. Mary isn't chasing the conventional beauty standards of Hollywood. She is pursuing a form she calls the living porcelain doll, but to such an extreme that even top surgeons are reluctant to proceed. We are talking about dozens of surgeries, from rhinoplasty and doll eye surgery